The Bundoran Weekly is brought to you by AIB, supporting local businesses in Bundoran. For more, see aib.ie.
Hi everyone, it's Shane Smyth, Bundoran Tourism Officer. It is Friday the 10th of March 2023 and I'm here with you for the Bundoran Weekly Podcast, episode 223. It is a podcast that talks about everything Bundoran. A little bit later on, I'm going to be joined by Paddy Donoghue of the Atlantic Writers Group. They're based here in Bundoran. He's going to be telling me a little bit more about them and all that they do. And as usual, Teresa O'Neill will be with us as well in our community corner from Bundoran Community Centre. A week to go until St. Patrick's Day and we're getting very excited. We'll give you more details about St. Patrick's in a few minutes time, but let's start off as always in our entertainment guide, and we'll start on the Allingham with Michael Cleary and Jackie Bannon there tonight, and Karen McGillian in the Coolmore Bar, Tom Moran in the Coolmore Bar tomorrow night, and Jimmy Buckley and his band in the Ballroom. Kieran Mackery then in the Coolmore Bar on Sunday evening. Moving next door to the Bird's Nest tomorrow evening, it is music with John Dolan, and Brendan German is there on Sunday evening. Saturday night at the Chase and Bull, it's music with True Tones, and the Von Tees there on Sunday. Brian Patton tonight at George's Bar, DJ Doolittle tomorrow night, and Sunday at 4 o'clock the usual trad session there with all musicians welcome to attend and to join in that trad session. At the Phoenix Tavern, there's live music there right across this weekend, and then tomorrow night at the Railway Bar, it is Kenny Crawford. And don't forget, it's Cheltenham Week, and the Cheltenham Festival will be live on all of their screens all next week at the Railway Bar. Paris opens Saturday night as usual, and all of our entertainment guide available on our website, discoverbundoran.com/events. You can find all of the information there, and as we get more, we add to it, so you can keep checking back for up-to-date listings there at discoverbundoran.com/events. This weekend in the cinema, you've got movie 65 and you've got Champions. Missed It Monday is Knock at the Cabin, and there's screenings again of On Colin Kuhn, which of course this weekend is Oscar weekend. Sunday night the Oscars taking place in Los Angeles, and Colin Kuhn and a raft of Irish movies up for awards this Sunday, so we wish everybody the best of luck on Team Ireland this Sunday. There is a parent and baby screening this morning next Friday morning of On Colin Kuhn, and that is at 10:30. You can find the full schedule for the cinema on our website or indeed at eclipsecinemas.com, where you can also book your tickets. Before we go any further, let me say thank you to everybody who took part in the Bundoran 10 last weekend. We had over 1,100 runners on the big day last Saturday, and a great day, perfect conditions, no wind, and a really, really great day. So thanks to everybody who helped out on that, everybody who registered and took part, and everybody who helped. A ton of volunteers and lots of people giving up their time to help us run the event here in Bundoran. So a massive thank you to everybody from myself and Canis and from Sarah on that one. Now we have the 70th Ballyshannon Drama Festival. It is happening from the 12th of March, so from this Sunday up until the 19th, so until next Sunday. So that is a week long drama festival. It's the 70th iteration of it. We were talking to John Travers of the Ballyshannon Drama Society a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. You can check that out if you want to find out a little bit more. The first play that kicks it off is The Kings of Kilburn High Road, and that will be on this Sunday night. So drama every night of the week, including St. Patrick's night as well. So there will be something for everybody right across this week in Ballyshannon at the Abbey Arts Centre, and you can check out the Abbey Centre website for details of tickets on that. Looking ahead then to the music that's coming up in the Dome on Easter Sunday night, it is music with Derek Warfield and the Young Wolf Tones. That is the 9th of April. The Hothouse Flower is there on the 22nd of April, and the 24th it's Pete and Diesel, Still in Search of Murdo John's Long Gone Long John's Part 2. So that is all coming up at the Phoenix, and you can find at the Dome, indeed, at the Phoenix, and you can find more details of that by checking out the Phoenix Tavern on Facebook. So it is coming up next weekend. It is St. Patrick's Day. We are very excited about it, and we'll tell you more about that in a couple of minutes time, and we'll also be chatting to Paddy Donoghue of the local writers group very shortly as well. Do stay with us.
The Bundoran Weekly.
I'm Shane Smyth, Bundoran Tourism Officer, and it is the Bundoran Weekly Podcast, episode 223, with thanks to AIB.ie supporting local businesses in Bundoran and Ballyshannon. Now, this day week, it's the big day. It is St. Patrick's Day, and we're very excited because there's lots of things planned around the town for it. The website is discoverbundoran.com/St. Patrick's Day, and there's a link to that in the show notes, and also just on the homepage of Discover Bundoran as well. You can just click into St. Patrick's Day there, and it'll give you all of the information about everything that's happening. Lots of little events here and there, lots of live music, of course, as you would expect, and of course our St. Patrick's Day parade, which is the showcase on the at 3:30 on St. Patrick's Day. It takes off from the East End outside of Kernan's, and then it moves through the main street and on to West End, where the parade finishes up there. So we're looking forward to seeing lots of people there. If you are a community group or a local business and you want to take part in it, then check out our website, discoverbundoran.com/parade, and you can register to take part in that. And that's really just so that we know who's coming and that we can make arrangements and to give you a bit of publicity ahead of the parade as well. So discoverbundoran.com/parade is the website there that you can check out for that. So we look forward to seeing everybody, and we've got a special marching band coming from our twin town through our Duselage Town Twinning Partnership, and they're coming from Portugal, from Sesimbra in Portugal, and they're a marching band, so we're looking forward to having them. We've also got some other guests from our Duselage partner towns as well, who you'll be seeing in the parade waving their flags. So discoverbundoran.com/St. Patrick's Day is where you need to go to get all of the information that you'll need for coming to Bundoran next weekend. Back to this weekend, and we are talking to Paddy Donoghue now, and Paddy is head of the Atlantic Writers Inc. writing group here in Bundoran. It's a brand new writing group that has been set up, but it has come from one that was in the past here in Bundoran as well, and I sat down with Paddy during the week to have a chat about it.
Paddy, you're here to talk to us today about the Atlantic Writers Inc. writing group here in Bundoran, and it's just recently formed, and we will come to that, but it's not a new thing to the area.
It's not, Shane, no. Must be up on maybe 25, 30 years ago. We had a Bundoran writers group, which was a great group, and it grew from initially 2 people for the first couple of meetings into the stage where we had 2 set limits of 12 people because it was just getting too big and out of hand, and it was very successful for a long time, and I think it just eventually ran its course at the end, and it no longer exists, so there's been a void there for the last maybe 5 years or thereabouts, 6 years.
Only that recently?
Only that recently, right, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you decided to revive it?
Yeah, Shane, I have a fierce interest. Goes back to my secondary school days when we had an English teacher who made Shakespeare come alive, and I have a fierce interest in poetry, reading it and trying to scribble a few words, and in reading anything really. And it's been something. I'm retired now, as you know, so it's I have a bit more time, and continued scribbling away. And just a few people that I met over the weekend of feeling them on, and in conversations, this came up several times. So I said, right, go and do it. And so I mentioned it to a few people, and we had a kind of an open evening in the community centre, and a fair few turned up, roughly about 10 people in and out for the cup of tea and the goodies. And we settled, 5 people then got together, and we formed the Atlantic Writers Inc. writing group. We meet Monday evenings in the community centre at 7:30, and goes on for about an hour, a little over an hour. We don't cut short exactly 8:30. If there's a flow going, we let it flow and we continue on.
So for myself and for anybody who's sort of interested in knowing a little bit more about it, what happens when you start off the meeting? What's the format? Well,
generally I seem to be leading it at the moment, but I would like to think that it's when we settle and get to know each other a bit better that it'll be everybody's group, and I'll use prompts for writing. We're going to write because we're a writing group, right, so we'll spend about half the time, maybe a little bit more, writing. The idea is we introduce. I'm going to ask each person on their turn on their week to introduce a poet, their favourite poet, one of their pieces and read it for the group and tell us a little bit about that poet. And we'll take that from that. I'll bring in the prompts, and then we do a wee bit of prompts, writing from prompts, bearing in mind there's a very first raw draft. I would expect then that people will work on that at home. Maybe the next week they might come in with a draft, and they'll feel free to read that to the group if they want to. If they don't, that's absolutely fine. It's strictly confidential and safe, so nobody's going to be forced to read or write if they don't want to. They can sit and observe. I'll have a few books on the table if they want to browse through them while we're the rest of us are trying to write or whatever. And we get feedback, but it'll all be positive feedback from the group ourselves. If people, and we look at things like exploring form, line breaks, because they can make a total, what could look like a piece of prose.
Yeah.
If you line break it correctly, you have a poem. Very simple. Drop a few adjectives, a few adverbs out of it and whatever, and you make a nice wee poem out of it. We'll discuss things like that, form and shape and style, stanza length and all of that.
And you might say, like, well, why don't you try this, or why don't you try that, or something like that.
Exactly. And a very, one of the people at the group expressed an interest in was haiku writing. Another person had never heard of what haiku was. Haiku is a three-line, 17-syllable poem, Japanese form. Beautiful pieces of poetry. Minimal words used. It's lovely stuff. And even talking about, say, a sonnet, where you have a volta in the middle of a sonnet, where there's a twist halfway through a sonnet. Most people didn't know stuff like that. So all of that is there for exploring and experimenting with. And as I say, totally safe and confidential. Nobody'd be under any pressure to do anything, Shane. Read, write, or whatever,
So it's just an hour long, and it's really appealing to anybody who like yourself has a real graw for the poetry or graw for writing or reading.
Exactly, Shane. Now, unfortunately, they have to be over 18, Shane, because there's obviously the safeguarding issues, and that's throws a different slant on it, so we have to be over 18. If there was an interest there in a younger people's group, it's something we could explore in time. We had one in the town, we had two in the town before, one for 5th, 6th class age group and one then for secondary school age group. We had loads of success with it, Shane. We have a young lad who I entered him to the secondary school at the time, and he won an All-Ireland prize at a big fancy do in a hotel that we were all invited to, and several of the other kids had poems commended or in the top 3. That's back again 20 years ago now, probably 18 to 20 years ago now,
So there's form.
Yes, exactly, Shane, exactly.
What about your aspirations then for the group going forward?
Again, I would like a group to form and become established in the area, because I do think it's something this town lacks a little bit, is a cultural side. Now, I know there's a lot of good stuff happening musically. We have a great musical culture here in the town, and it was great to see, especially the Phil and the Man and what Neve and the guys are doing there with ISA, bringing a bit of culture down. But a lot of people, locals, seem to be unaware of these things. So I'm hoping that this will bring more of an awareness to that there is something there for people that would like to explore poetry or writing or reading in this form, in a safe and confidential environment as well.
Very good. So give us the times and the details again.
It's at the moment we're running every Monday night, starting 7:30 in the community centre in Bundoran. Room is downstairs off the reception area there. Nice cosy wee room. There's a table there, but we don't have to sit around the table. You can take your chair and sit in the corner and scribble whatever.
And do you have to bring your pen and pad with you?
That's all that's needed.
Yeah.
And if you come without it, I always have a spare piece of paper and a pen with me. Yeah, always come prepared, yes.
Talk to me about just reading in general. There's so many books out there, and it hasn't lost its touch. People reading books.
Absolutely not, Shane. I remember when the famous Kindles came out first. I was gifted a Kindle and a couple of books on it for me. I could not get into it. There's nothing like turning a page.
Yeah.
Personally, Shane, I read with a panluia, with a pencil in my hand. I'm inclined to underline words that I don't understand. Look them up. Mr. Google's a great friend of mine.
Yes.
Underline sentences or phrases. I have what I call a scribbling pad I transfer them into, and very often they've been inspiration for a poem later on. Wee things like that there. I read and read and read, and I love poetry. Poetry's something you don't sit down like it's a novel.
Yeah.
You dip in and out to it, and you mark your poem. Today actually, Shane, is World Book Day.
Oh, right, okay.
World Book Day.
As we record this, it is the 2nd of March.
Yes, and I'm hoping to finish Joseph O'Connor's latest book, hopefully tonight, if not tomorrow. And poetry, I find, is something that I dip in and out of a lot, it's kind of my comfort read,
Right.
And again, your favourites would vary. From last year was a mighty year for Irish novelists, with some brilliant books came out. Idle by Louise O'Neill, Trespass, Sean Hewitt's biography, brilliant books. And likewise we have a whole plethora of young male and female poets who are out. Anne-Marie Nichurn, Jessica Traynor, Emily Cullen, Sean Hewitt again, James Finnegan, a Donegal man, Mary Branley, Sligo woman, loads of them out there with books coming out last year or this year, and collections coming out and out there to be read, and they're just beautiful,
And would you aspire to publish yourself?
I have no aspiration. I have stuff published and recorded way back from prizes I won when I was more active at it. Funny, it was during the years when I was full-time employed as well and training like anything for running, and I seem to have had more time for my writing that time, Maybe my day job wasn't as strenuous as I thought it was. But I would have had stuff published in anthologies and stuff like that there, and I've had the pleasure of reading at the big Courage Festival in Galway some years ago, and at the Screeve Festival in Sligo as well some years ago. I'm published in magazines like Cyphers and Mac.com poems and stuff like that there over the years, But no aspirations to publishing a full collection, not at the moment anyway.
Well, sure,
maybe later when I'm gone, somebody might gather them all up and
well, watch this space, I suppose. That's all we can say.
Yeah.
Listen, Paddy, it's great to see something new being brought into the town, even though it's a resurrection, I guess. But it's great to see something new and something different for the people of the town, and you're to be applauded for that. So well done. And that's the Atlantic Writers Inc. writing group of Bundoran, meeting Monday evenings at the Bundoran Community Centre, 7:30, and you can give Paddy a shout, and he's on social media. You can give him a shout and he'll give you more details. Thanks, Paddy.
Thank you very much, Shane. Thank you.
The Bundoran Weekly.
Paddy, thank you, and you can get in touch with Paddy via Bundoran Community Centre. And speaking of Bundoran Community Centre, we'll head there now, and Teresa O'Neill is in our community corner. Teresa.
Thanks, Shane. We have a wonderful basket weaving event coming up in the centre on Monday the 13th of March at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Ruggie Suite. This is for International Women's Day. This is part funded by the ETB, so it is €35 per person. Limited spaces available, so book in through the centre on 07198 29675 or email bundorancommunitycentre@gmail.com. Citizens information is here on Wednesday the 15th of March. They are available from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Karate is back in the centre. On Tuesdays from 5:30 to 6:30, classes are available for children and adults. If you would like to take part, please call Chris on 08777 64625. The Bundoran Bay Swim is back this year. The new date is Saturday the 29th of July. If you want to check out more details or to sign up, go to www.bundoranbayswim.com. The Bundoran Poets Writing Group is here in the centre every Monday night at 7:30. If you would like an evening of making poems and chatting about poetry, then why not join? The Bundoran Community Museum is open Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It is free, but donations are greatly appreciated. You can find the history of surfing, the railway, show bands, culture and heritage and all in this museum. The youth hangout is on every Wednesday at 4:15 to 5:30. If you are 12 to 17 and would like a safe place to meet friends, play pool, board games and drink hot chocolate, then come along.
Teresa, thank you. We'll talk to you again next weekend for St. Patrick's Day. That is going to do it for our podcast for this week. Thank you for listening. Thank you, as usual, for your comments and your feedback. You can contact us at podcast@bundoranweekly.com, and you can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. And don't forget, you can follow us wherever you're listening now, or indeed stream and download all episodes on demand at bundoranweekly.com. Thanks to Mark Egan and his team at Songs of Erin for the use of our signature tune, which is called The Man from Bundoran. And don't forget, if you're out and about next week for St. Patrick's Day, use the hashtag #DiscoverBundoran on your photographs for your chance to be featured in our feed on Instagram. And we've got some cool little giffies there in the Giphy section of Instagram stories as well, if you want to use them to brighten up your stories. That is it. We will talk to you again on St. Patrick's Day. Have a great week. Good luck.
The Bundoran Weekly is a production of Discover Bundoran.
The Bundoran Weekly is brought to you by AIB, supporting local businesses in Bundoran. For more, see aib.ie.